Welcome to Bleav In 76ers with your hosts, former 76ers point guard Eric Snow and two Sixers fanatics in Marcus and Teja Dash. Bleav In 76ers is presented by BetOnline.AG.
Football might be over for this season, but basketball is in full steam for both pro and college hoops. From all the latest odds, totals, player performance props, to where the next fired coach is going to land, BetOnline is the number one spot for all your sports betting needs. Head over to the website or use your mobile devices to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code, Bleav, that's BLEAV, to get started. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline is your source for hockey, boxing, and UFC odds. From sports right down to your favorite Vegas casino games, BetOnline is your number one online wagering destination. BetOnline, the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports and play your favorite games. BetOnline, where the game starts. Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of the new look Bleav In 76ers podcast. I'm Marcus Dash. You may know me from the Chief Concerns podcast right here on the Bleav Podcast Network. My older brother, Teja Dash. The reason why I'm a Sixers fan is because of this guy. He's also part of the Titans of Pluto comedy group. You can find that on YouTube. And of course, there would be no Bleav In 76ers podcast without the man, the myth, the legend, Eric Snow. 7 years Sixers point guard. Was it 7 years you were there?
I'm counting 7. It was 6+, but I'm counting 7.
You got to round up on those, huh?
Definitely.
Eric, I'm just going to say this. I know we talked yesterday a little bit, but for me, and I'm sure for Teja, it's an honor to be able to co-host this show with you. I only remember the first Sixers I remember was the Sixers that were led by Eric Snow as the point guard. So it's all awesome to host with you.
It was definitely, thank you. It's a pleasure to work with you all. I'm excited to, speak about basketball and definitely speak about Sixers basketball. I'm growing up, obviously I'm from Ohio, and the Cavs was one of my favorite teams, but my favorite team was actually the 76ers. So I was fortunate enough to play for two teams that I enjoyed and I followed the most growing up, and primarily because of Dr. J. So I was a Sixer fan for a quite long time, even before I played.
Oh, interesting. And you were lucky enough to play for both your favorite teams, Sixers and the Cavs. That's awesome.
Yeah, their favorite teams.
Made championship runs with both of them, right?
Yeah, we went to the finals with. I went to the finals with all the teams I played for. I just came up second place.
Yeah.
We lost to some guy named Michael Jordan and Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal. But second place is not too bad. You just want to win it.
Yeah.
I mean, not many people could say two-time Eastern Conference champions do. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to at least be conference champions. But we all want. That's why we want this year's team to go ahead and get it done.
Exactly.
Right, man.
And that actually leads us to, that's a great segue, beautiful segue to our first segment. Eric knows how it is. He worked in TV for a little bit, so he knows about the segues. But yeah, after nearly a year of Simmons feuding with the whole city of Philadelphia, we'll finally get to see him return to the city. So the first question of the night, what is the headline for tonight? Is it Harden against his former team, or is it Simmons facing the city of Philadelphia for the first time in nearly a year?
I mean, it's got to be, being coming back to Philly, because I think his was from the summer all the way up until right now. Even though he's not playing, and that kind of leans more on James, but I think as far as Harden versus the Brooklyn Nets, that'll be more about the game itself and how the game turns out. But I think, with Ben, it's more than basketball. It's, it's the trade request, it's the not playing, the city being disappointed, him being disappointed with the team. So I think, all of those emotions comes into play, and you got all of people excited and people ready to taunt and boo, and he's not even playing. So that tells you that how big it is right now.
That's great. I mean, Eric, have you ever seen, and Marcus too, but have you ever seen people lining up to almost watch someone who's not even playing? It's almost like the main attraction is someone who's sitting on the bench the entire time. And that seems crazy to me. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's it's one, in one hand, it shouldn't have really came down to this. It's unfortunate, but he's moved on. I think that now you have people that were disappointed with the way things were going while he was still here. Now they get to relent. So I think it's the more times that he comes, he come to Philly, I think the less, he'll hear the boos. I think eventually it'll go away, but I don't think it'll ever go away where it's totally gone. But it will gradually decrease. But folks have been there's people out there that's been waiting for this day, and I think it'll be two elements. It'll be an element for him coming back, and it'll be an element when the first time he actually plays in Philly.
Yeah, man, they're waiting to unleash. It's crazy to see that because it's like I wish the storylines were about just the game itself, but it's just crazy to see someone that is not even playing take over. And I totally agree with you. I think that it will get better with the time. I think that's probably why him and his people are like, you need to go there and just sit. Because
I agree. I agree that even when they knew he wasn't playing, I mean, people had this game marked. Like that's the first thing when the trade went down, that was the first thing they looked at is when does he come to Philly? And you got to think that they like, man, go and kind of get some of that out the way. Even though you're not playing, they still going to be on it. But by the time you play, you would have kind of felt some of it and kind of moved on. And then two, you get some people like, man, I'm not going to sit up here and I'm going to go support the Sixers. I'm going to lay off him. And then I think it'll be more situational. If he doesn't play or he doesn't play well, pretty much that's how it's going to be. But if he goes and he performs, then, people are not going to keep going if he's kicking our tail.
That's true. It'll become more about rooting the Sixers to beat the Nets, whereas right now I think it's just about beating down Ben as much as possible. And it's crazy because, I think he's just trying to kind of almost like a rehab process, right? Like first you have to sit there and take it. Although, I mean, you obviously can tell better than me and Marcus. I mean, if you're sitting on the bench the whole time, you don't have the luxury of getting you don't have the luxury of getting in the game and kind of getting that out of your head and just concentrating on your play. You're sitting there getting roasted for like 3+ hours, right?
I mean, it really depends on kind of who you are and who you as a person and whether you engage in it. Because to a certain extent, like they can say whatever they want to say, but they're not going to do anything. Security aren't going to let them do anything. So people aren't going to. Most of the people that are going to taunt aren't going to physically do anything to them. That's not where it's going. So you just, it's coming. It's just certain things that you probably don't want to hear that could trigger you. Most guys in the league are used to hearing certain things, but some things will trigger you, and some things may need to be addressed. So hopefully it doesn't come to that point, but it's going to be constant. I mean, even if and I don't, even big lead or not, close game, it's going to be constant. So he's going to hear it, and he's prepping for it. I think he's prepared for it. And like you said, I firmly believe that's why he came to kind of smoothen some of that blow for the next time he actually comes. Because we can easily see them in the playoffs. Yeah. In the first round. Yeah.
And that's 4 games at Philly that he's got to go to. I mean, it's crazy that even I saw that quote from Niang saying, I think it's true. They're saying he's Simmons is top of his shit talking list, and that's someone that wasn't even they didn't even play. They only saw each other in that practice with a cell phone in his pocket thing. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, but
the whole city feels it.
Some of it it's the city, but I think some of you have some players, especially the players that wasn't necessarily there the whole time. They never really had a chance to build a bond or a friendship or a connection. So to them, he's just the guy that just never showed up. Or when he was there, he wasn't engaged. So it was no previous relationship. So that's all he knows.
Yeah,
whereas
that's
guys
true.
Who've been with him before, they have a relationship. They kind of can hear him out and understand where he's coming from. They just know that professionally they got a job to do. So I think it's different if based on who you speak to on the team and on the roster.
Yeah. And today we saw that Danny Green had on someone's podcast, he essentially said that Simmons changed all of his numbers without telling. He changed his phone numbers and didn't tell any of the players on the team, and they didn't talk to him for the first time until he came back to the facility for that practice where he had the phone in his pocket. And so, I mean, it's just a weird vibe between the guys. Do you think there will be handshaking tonight with Simmons and the players on the team?
I don't think from a standpoint, most guys when they have disagreements with the team, for the most part, guys can figure it all out and kind of let that be separate. It really depends on the relationships with that he has with the individual players, because was his relationship just strained with the team, or was it strained with teammates also? That's what we don't know. It's so many things we feel like we do know and we've heard, but it's a lot of unknowns. What is the relationship player by player that he had with, Danny Green and, and Tobias and all these other guys that were there with him the last few years. So what is his relationship with those guys, and how often did he speak to them? Did he cut them off? Did he stop speaking to them? Would he not respond, or vice versa? That can change a relationship if those things happen. So, but we really don't know. But I think for the most part, I Bleav if he's willing to engage with those guys, I don't see them refusing to do so.
Yeah,
it's just whether he's going to be willing to engage, meaning come out on the court and see players, or go down the hallway. And it's different, man. If you're going to go down the hallway and you're going to see people, is he going to just show up, sit down, and get out? Like, you don't know. So it really depends on what he's willing to do once he hits the arena.
Yeah.
Once he's in there, man, he's locked in, though. That's for sure, man.
There was one thing that at the last press conference after our game, one of the reporters asked Doc if there was going to be a tribute video. Do you think there will be a tribute video tonight, or what do you think about that?
I mean, I think Ben's done enough, in the future to have a tribute video. But I mean, I just don't understand where all these, like, what do you have to do to get a tribute video? Like, what is it? You an all-star? Like, I'm just trying to figure out who decides who gets a tribute video.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, is it like you play 10 years? Like, what is it? Like, I'm just confused on what's
parameters.
What's the criteria for getting a tribute video? Like, everybody to get traded? Like, we gonna give Steph Curry one? I mean, like, so what's the difference? Because Ben was an all-star?
Yeah.
I mean,
leaving on good terms should be one of the criteria.
Ben Simmons is still going to play the majority of his career away from Philly.
Yeah.
He'll play 10 plus years out of Philly, which means the majority of his career is not going to be played in Philly. Mm-hmm. So we give guys videos for playing 4 or 5 years in Philly.
Yeah, I think it's kind of fake too, because it's not going to be a genuine. But
I just don't.
Miss you, Simmons.
I think being from what he's accomplished, it should be sort of like welcome back. But where it's at right now, I just think that draws attention to it, because I don't think it'll be well received, which makes it work. I just think the more attention you draw to it, I think, like, they put a video up, they will boo worse than they were booing for the whole night. Now, is that right? Maybe not. But you have a guy that had a disagreement with the team, decided to stay away, then you give him a tribute video? Like, I just think just stay away from it. He moved on, you move on. Leave it at that. Maybe down the road, maybe that's something you can do, but not right now.
Yeah, because bygones are not bygones right now.
Yeah, not right now.
It seems like they're trolling him if they do one. I said online that if they do one, they have to have like the record screeching and a bunch of missed free throws. But that was just a troll version.
That's what I'm saying. I don't believe in the team making fun of them either.
No, exactly.
If I don't believe in the team making fun of them, there's no need to come on. We appreciate what he's done. I mean, we understood what he did in Philly, but let's just move on. He's there. Maybe somewhere down the road when things are a little more calm and bygones are bygones, then maybe we can do something. That's how I see it.
That's why I a million reasons why I love the trade. But it's such a difference between Harden and Simmons is that I have no hesitation about Harden wanting to go in there and roast his old team and let it rip. Like, I think he's just going to go in there and game. Whereas Simmons, he's scared to face his old team, and he's only come in because of apparent a grievance he's about to file with the team. It's just such a difference between those two as far as just the mentality of being a dog on the court and just not being almost the exact opposite of what that is with Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, I find it interesting that, but I don't know everything that's going on with Ben. I don't know if because with the mental health, he's out. I don't know if he's physically not capable. But I can, from a player standpoint, if I was asking for a trade, but I wanted to play, I just didn't want to play on the team that I was on. I would have in my mind that the trade deadline, and then we have the All-Star break, that would be my time to get ready to play. I would figure during that time that, hey, it's time to go.
That's what Harden did.
Yeah, so that would kind of be your target date. So for that not to happen, then you have to figure out or try to guess, why? Is he just avoiding this game? Is he truly injured? Is he truly not there mentally? We don't know. I'm not trying to assume. I'm just saying it surprised me that he hasn't played because I don't know the ins and outs of what's truly going on with him and his camp.
And I was watching First Take the other day, and Stephen A. Smith and Tim Legler both said that I wouldn't be surprised at midnight on March 11th if you see Ben Simmons is ready to go and he'll be able to play on over the weekend with the Nets.
Probable for his next game. Second afterwards.
Most people kind of, looked and probably figured, because if Philadelphia, they waiting for you. So the fans are waiting for you from the minute you step into the city. That's the difference with Philadelphia and some other places. Some other places it starts inside the arena. In Philadelphia, it starts when you hit the city.
There was a video that just came out a couple hours ago of fans waiting outside the hotel and kind of
without a doubt, like that. It would surprise me if that wasn't happening.
And with Simmons too, it's like players. I mean, you're a player. That's we're talking about just the fans. When he gets on the court, you smell blood, you smell weakness. He seems weak right now. Are players just going to attack that and just go right at him on the court now?
You know what? I firmly believe that from a Sixers standpoint, they just going to try to win the game. I think what you're speaking about is
when he plays. When he plays.
Yeah, when he plays, I think that's really going to be more other teams. That's how other teams are kind of going to approach him. I think from our standpoint, if we get a situation where he, you want to foul him, you know what I'm saying? Get him and put him on the line and talk a little trash. But I think more than anything, we just want to beat him.
Yeah.
So that's really going to be the big part. But I think as time goes on, you'll have more and more teams that's going to test him. So he's going to get tested. He's going to get fouled. A team's going to see where he's at because of how things were left as far as him playing in his last game.
It's so fascinating because it's not like you said to begin with. It's not just a basketball situation. I don't know what's in his head, but it sounds like from all the leaking and the reports, everything's so public nowadays with social media. It just sounds like there's so much more than just basketball decisions being made. Like he's making a decision to be there because of an ongoing case he has against Philly. So there's much more than just, okay, I need to get on the court. I need to start winning. I need to start playing basketball. There's so much as far as posturing for a position for getting that $20 million back, where there's just so many decisions being made that just isn't about,
Being that you say that, is this case helped or hurt by him not playing?
I think when he first got traded, Marcus and I spoke about it, and I said first thing, I go, when do we play them next? He's not going to play in that game. One, because he doesn't want to come back to Philly. Two, because when you throw down that mental health card, you can't just turn it off the second you leave. Like, all right, ready to play now. That was a mental health only against Philadelphia. I'm good now. So he kind of has to follow through with it. You have to say, okay, I'm still not ready. I'm still going through some stuff to make it believable, right? And I'm not saying he's lying. I can't say that because I'm not in his head. But if you are trying to get $20 million back and you're citing real mental health problems, then you can't really come back that soon, right? So But he does say he's fine now. He said what I heard recently was that he hurt his back while ramping up his basketball activities. So, I mean, now it's not not mental. Now it's bad.
Mental health can be change of environment. That could be something that's part of his rehab that helps him. I don't know. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't truly know the reason for him being out has not been declared by the Nets. They haven't said Ben Simmons is out because of this. That eliminates us trying to assume or guess.
Yep, and speculate. Yeah, exactly. Man.
Yeah, somebody tells me this Ben Simmons saga will continue throughout the next few months, and especially we play them in the playoffs. That's only going to be a longer another chapter to the story. But now we're going to shift a little focus here to the kind of the X's and O's, the stuff on the court. Taking a closer look at the matchup of all the faces on the floor. What are you looking for offensively and defensively? Just big thing that pops out to me is we've been giving up a lot of points since we've gotten Harden, but we've also been scoring a lot too. So what will you be keying in on tonight, Eric?
Well, man, I think more than anything, I think the one thing that we have done this season is leading the league in free throw percentage. So I think if we can get to that line and continue to get to that line, and I think when you have Joel and you have James, both of those guys can shoot a high rate of free throws. I think the more that we can get them in situations where they got to foul us or we can convert from the free throw lines and convert easier baskets, that slows down their offense. It kind of takes away some transition baskets. And I think that'll help us defensively. So I think we have to continue to attack, continue to try to get to that free throw line, put them in some foul trouble. Obviously they're going to have Kyrie, so that's a different adjustment than, playing in Brooklyn. But you have to be able to slow the game down by controlling your turnovers, getting to that line, because I think we can score on them. I know we can score on them, but I think if you can score in those ways and mix it up and get them in some pressure and get on their heels, that'll kind of slow them down offensively as well. You got a team that got two dynamic offensive players. You lessen their possessions. That'll give you a better chance to win the game.
Now, Teja, what are you looking for? Because I know you and I talked about a little bit about Tobias and where that goes. I mean, what are you kind of looking for tonight as a fan?
I think offensively, I don't think when I'm watching games, and I told you this recently, Marcus, I don't think I've ever wanted the ball going so much for a player than Tobias, because we need him to be that solid 17 and 19 guy. He needs to be that rain or shine. He needs to be like our Middleton almost. No matter how the game's going, Tobias is getting his buckets. And it just feels, looking at him, he just doesn't feel that confident in him because he's getting good looks. I mean, he front rims a lot. A lot of his shots look short. I don't know if it's a confidence thing, but I mean, if he could just be 80% of what he was pre-Harden, I'd be we'd be unstoppable, I think. Because in the 5 games Harden's played, he's 11 points a game, 38% shooting, 27 from 3. That's brutal. I mean, I know his shots are way down. He's not taking as much. He's taking a little more in his last 3 games. But before that, he was taking 8 and 9 shots a game. But, I mean, I get it. You have to get your bearings with a new player, especially one who's so ball dominant and Harden. But to offset that, you'll get less looks, but your looks will be great, right? I mean, they're going to be really, really open shots now. You just got to make them now, right? So, yeah, I mean,
I think the one thing about it is I've told people, because I've been in this situation, so I know it from experience. It's different when a guy like James comes to your team. You can get wide open shots, but say, for instance, you play a whole quarter and you're the number 2 option. You say, for instance, you could get 30 touches in a quarter where you just feel the basketball. Well, now when you become that 3 and then sometimes 4, you can almost cut that in half. You can actually physically touch the ball half of that or 10 times in one quarter. So that's different. So now when that ball comes, you catch the ball, it's not, I got to make this shot. So the difference, it's a different game for him now. And I think he has to adjust. So you're saying even when Ben was there, in most cases, Tobias was still option number 2.
Yeah.
From an offensive standpoint.
Absolutely.
So now when you say you're no longer 2 and you're 3, but you're a distant 3.
Yeah, you're barely 3 because Tyrese is taking that
like
3
you're
from
much
him.
closer to 5 than you are 2.
Yeah.
and that's what makes it tough because you got a guy like Maxey who's just young and energetic and just run and go play. So he's a go-getter. He's just going to go and go and go. But he's also a guard, so he'll touch the ball and feel the ball a little more. Whereas Tobias is more, whenever he makes a play or he gets a shot, it's usually him having to receive the ball. And that's what's different. He can't get a rebound and take it coast to coast. He can't run the court and assume he's going to get it. So I think that they can – I really think they have to make an effort to get him going. Like it has to be an effort from the team and the staff to call plays for him, get touches. And I think you got to do it from the beginning of the game because I think as the game goes on and you don't really involve him, then it's hard to kind of throw him in there. I think you got to establish him from every game.
I think he needs like 13 to 16 shots every game. I think he needs to get him up there.
They can do it. They can do it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying because James and Joel are so gifted offensively, they'll still get theirs. And they're still going to draw attention. So, but I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. When you have those guys, in order to get Tobias going, it has to be an effort for everyone to make it happen. Like you got to, you can say you're forcing it, but in some ways you are. Like you're forcing the team to go and play through him at least early because I believe the better he plays, the better we are.
Absolutely.
As a coach, Eric, what would you tell Tobias? Because I mean, he does at times. He does look like he's not as confident, out there. What would you kind of tell him to kind of get that, get the juices back?
Well, I mean, you got to tell him to, to believe in his work, believe in the work that he's put in, and continue to just keep grinding it out. It'll play itself out, but at the same time, stay confident and opportunities will come, and it's adjustment for everybody, and probably the biggest adjustment for him. But it's sacrifice you got to make, and sacrifices he's making is sacrificing his game, where now all of a sudden he has to take a step back and find a new niche and find a new way to contribute. And to his defense, it may not always be just putting the ball in the basket. It may be defensively, it may be rebounding. So as long as he can contribute in other ways, it definitely helps the team. It's just that, if you're going to have the limited opportunities offensively, we can't necessarily expect him to keep scoring 17 if he's only getting 8 shots.
Yeah.
That's why I think that it has to be a concerted effort for the team to force it to him and make sure that he get calls and he gets plays that are for him. And for him, each game, beginning of the game or when Joel's out the game, you got to scheme it. So it's like, the minute Joel isn't on the court, we're going through you. Or the beginning of the game, we're going through you. So that's how you have to continue to kind of force feed him to get him going, because at the end of the day, like it's just going to help him and it's going to help the team. But I do think that he still has to contribute in other ways outside of scoring.
Yeah, keep him engaged for sure. Yeah. And he has been playing better defensively. I think he's been playing pretty well. And I must say, you and I say it all the time when we're watching games, Marcus, Tobias gets fouled a lot and they don't call. They do not give him love at all in calls, man. I mean, I'm not just a biased Sixer fan because I'm not saying that about every Sixer, but Tobias especially gets mugged a lot. But
I remember talking to old referees, and the one thing that we used to always say was, why does the better players get more calls? And one referee was like, well, because they have the ball more.
Yeah, play the odds, I guess.
Like the old saying go, the more opportunities you get, the more fouls you get.
Plus, I mean, do you think the fact that Harden and Embiid are averaging a zillion free throws a game kind of hurts the other guys get those calls? Yeah, we're getting them to Harden and Embiid 25 times a game, guys. Relax, type thing.
It's possible that that whistle kind of tightens when someone else has the ball.
Oh, that's terrible. That sucks. Yeah. And your original question, defensively, I mean, I think it's interesting playing the Nets because as amazing as they are with Kyrie and Durant, they're an unfinished product. We're not watching what's going to be in in the playoffs, right? So it's not exactly what, but they live and die by Durant. So, and Durant's been roasting us this year. I think he averages 32, 8, and 10 in the 3 games against us, man. So he is killing us. So just to see how they slow him down. I mean, Matisse is a great defender. I think he's a little too small for Durant. I think Durant gets those shots up over him like he does against everybody else. You can't stop that. But just to see what we're going to do defensively against him and just try to slow him down. He's coming off a rough game too, so he's going to look to try to kill it, man. Because Durant, if you don't give him an edge, he finds someone on the court to feud with just to get him up there, right? But this game, he's not going to need help, man. There's going to be so much energy in that building. He's going to want to pop it off for Ben.
This is a moment game. It's a lot going on. So I think that it's, they're not trying to lose to us. We're not trying to lose to them. So, the motivation isn't necessarily needed in this game. So I think, for KD, you're going to have to do something. I think you're going to have to mix it up as far as matchups. You're going to have to show him some double teams and whichever way you're going to send him, if you want to send him right or left, or when if he's dribbling, do you come on the dribble? Do you come on the catch? Do you come on the pass? Like, you got to change it up, show him some different things. But I just think you just can't let him be comfortable and stay comfortable.
Totally.
Sure. All right. Well, okay. So now we're going to come to our final topic of the episode, and usually everyone's favorite topics, hearing game predictions. And so Sixers are currently a 4.5-point favorite against the Brooklyn Nets. I Bleav the line started out as 5 points. Now it's down to 4.5. But who do you have and why? Eric, we'll start with you on this one.
Sixers by 7.5. I think we, tight game. Most of the game we'll pull out. By, like I said before, the great free throw percentage we have as a team, we'll pull it out, getting fouled late in the games. Close, tight game, we'll make the free throws in the end to give us that 7.5 advantage.
I love it. Teja, what do you got?
Very similar. I'm taking the Sixers, and last time I checked, there were, I think 75% of the public money was on Philly. So it's interesting to see you go from 5 to 4.5. But I think it is going to be a tight game. I think it's going to come down to the free throws at the end, either pushing it the bet or pushing it over that. I think we win by 5. I think it's right on the spread. Of course, they know everything.
Yeah,
they're never wrong. Yeah, but I'm also going to be looking forward to just watching the game as far as predictions. A lot of the knock on Harden, especially when we traded for him, was he crumbles in big high pressure situations. This isn't a playoff game, but it is. I mean, it's
like
big,
it.
Yeah, it's a big regular season game, man. If you're going to put this on the scale of regular season games,
while the game is on, it's the only NBA game on TV.
Yep.
It's the only one.
He's against his former team. I mean, it's all there. Everything's there so it's not a playoff game, but it's a high pressure situation. So it'd be interesting to see how he does in his first big high pressure situation in the Sixer jersey as well.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I agree with both you guys. I think we do cover the spread. I mean, as a betting guy, I play it safe. I'll take it money line. I'm not going to do any numbers here. I'll do a Sixers money line in this one. But yeah, I think it is going to come down to who wants it more. As far as Eric, you kind of said both teams want this. For all the reasons we've mentioned on the show, but I think, at home, that's going to have the edge. And I think our crowd is going to, as playoff atmosphere, I think the crowd's going to kind of give us that edge, that lean us a little over the edge to win this game in a close one, though. Only game on. I didn't even realize it was the only game on tonight.
Wow. What's the game after it? But it's the only game while it's on. Yes.
Oh, in our time slot. Yeah.
Only 2 games. Wow. It really is playoff basketball. Only 2 games on today. Wow. It's going to be interesting.
Is the energy giving you 2001 vibes? Is it giving you like the 2001 year, the midseason trade from Mutombo, all the expectations?
Not quite. You know what it's really like? It's like the Lakers coming to town with Kobe and Shaq. After that, it's like them coming to town, or pick any year where we play the Knicks.
Yeah.
And with that, back when the Knicks used to have, their fans come to the games and be obnoxious, and like that would always be a different environment. But it was, you always like to send, just a team that travels pretty well. You always like to send their fans, out with a loss. So I just think that it's that vibe. We didn't when the Dikembe came, it was more of us receiving Dikembe. It wasn't necessarily any ill blood between.
No, that's true. That's true.
So it wasn't really it wasn't anything that was like prolonged since this summer. So it was
Theo wasn't having problems with you guys or anything. He was just injured. That's all.
Yes. So it was.
That's true.
But as far as the excitement, the enthusiasm, and the amount of attention that people are paying to it, yes, it's right there to our run.
Because along with your run and this one, it's not just a really good team anymore. It's like, okay, championships in your sights. Like, you guys should be competing for the highest spot now.
Yeah, you should be getting there.
Yeah.
So the expectations are there. And, with us, it was more of, we didn't have those expectations before the season. We kind of jumped into those expectations during the season. Whereas the Sixers, kind of came off expectations, and then you didn't know, and now James is there, and their expectations are back.
Yeah, skyrocketed with him. Yeah.
Before we go, Eric, I just you said something earlier that kind of sparked something. So as far as the tribute videos, and like what is the threshold who gets a tribute video? And you were, for me, I see you as an icon when it comes to Sixers legends. For me, did you get a tribute video when you came back?
No, I got a boo. And I was traded in the summer, and they kind of they said my name for the introduction, and you could hear a couple scattered cheers. But as soon as the game started, I was the opponent. That's how it's been. I mean, I get Philly love when I hit the town or come back or go to a game. But when I was in another uniform, I was an opponent. It felt weird. It was very different. It was hard. It was hard. That first game was different. So it was, just to play there and the people are against you. It's different.
How long did it take for those boos to wear off? Like a year or two, and then it kind of got lower, a little more watered down, more watered down.
First game, they just boo, but they boo everybody. So it didn't really, it was just that first time. Like, I'm in Philly getting booed. Oh, I mean,
shocker.
But they did boo us when I played for Philly too. It didn't take much. I mean, we were getting the year we went to the finals, we got booed. We got booed all the time.
Oh man.
But that we know how much they care. Like, Philly playing for the Sixers was like family. It's like they can get on you, but they're not gonna let anybody else get on
you. And that's the thing about the whole Simmons thing. Philly, I defended Simmons for so long, man. Even after the Atlanta series, and Marcus can attest to this, I thought something was wrong with him then. I was even saying I was like, yo, man, he's going through stuff. Like, this isn't normal. This is not just he's having a slump. That wasn't just a slump. Something was wrong with him. I could see it, right? So, and I was defending him.
I knew it when everybody was talking about Ben Simmons and he had to make a 3-pointer. I was like, you all can talk about the threes all you want. I'm telling you right now, Ben's issue is free throws. So I was saying this years ago, and they was like, well, how you say free throws? I said, because threes will make you drive to the basket. Free throws will make you not want the ball.
Yep.
And we see how it ended.
Yeah. Even that famous play with him throwing it. And I always said, I don't have a problem with him missing shots. I have a problem with him not wanting to take shots. That's my problem.
When you miss a three, you won't respond like that. You just drive the ball. You just drive the ball to the basket.
Yeah.
Make a play.
Choose a different option.
You just take a closer shot. But when you don't want to get fouled, you will not shoot. You'll shy away from the basket. You'll shy away from contact. Like, it makes you play like a totally different person.
Yeah.
That's why I've always felt the free throws is where he had to make the improvement. And for his sake, I hope he has. Because, it's something that if he doesn't, is going to hit him for the rest of his career.
Before we go, quick question though. Why don't more guys do the Rick Barry? How come more? I know it doesn't. I know it looks whack, but
people don't, because kids don't grow up doing it. Like, it's almost like shooting right-handed your whole life and then shooting left-handed. That's what it's like. So
But
you
so
would
much,
never tell, but you would never tell somebody to shoot right-handed to start shooting left-handed because they missed. But that's that making that adjustment to mentally is like the same for them. They're not going to change. Like guys aren't going to do that. No one like if for them to do that. Like who's going to come in and teach them how to do it? Rick Barry's going to teach everybody.
make a lot of money.
You know, just like where are they getting this teaching from? Like who does it to even show them the proper way to shoot it like that? So most people are like, man, I'm not starting over. I'm not starting over doing that.
So analytic based now. Now, if the coach is telling you like you're shooting 45%, if you just do this, even if you're not that good at it yet, we got you shooting like 65. Like,
because most of them think it won't be better than where they are. Because the one thing that you got to do with free throws, no matter how you shoot them, is you got to put in the work. So just because you start shooting underhanded, if you don't practice them, you're not gonna make them.
Yeah, it's true.
So most people feel if they got to put in the work, just let them stay the way they are.
I forgot what Shaq's exact quote was about it, but he pretty much said, "I'd rather miss than do it granny style." So that's also a mentality too. It's like, no, I'm not resulting to doing that. I'm not gonna. That's like using the little borders when you're going bowling. Like, no, I'm not putting those in. I'll put it in the gutter every time before I put the little borders in. You know?
Yeah.
Man, but bumper bowling is actually kind of fun. High scoring. It's
like you do with your eyes closed.
Always score.
It's like Big 12 football, but bowling. But all right, well, that does it for us. Thanks for tuning in to the first episode of the Bleav In 76ers, the rebrand presented by BetOnline. For all listeners out there, we're going to try to do 2 episodes a week to try to recap and preview all of our Sixers games. And so for more, please follow us on Twitter at Bleav In 76ers on Twitter. So we'll see you guys next time. Eric, amazing having you on, man. This is awesome. I can't wait to continue doing this.
Likewise, man. Take it easy.
All right, fellas.
All
right, guys. So bonus content here. Everyone loves same game parlays and prop bets. So we're gonna do a little bonus part here of Teja's 5 favorite props of the game tonight. 5. So Teja, what do you got for us? What's your number 1?
I'm going so I'm going to talk about same game parlay props. I'm going to do like normal props. They switch the numbers up a little bit. You know that. Gotcha. So Matisse, okay. So averaging 2 steals a game against Brooklyn this season and 3 game sample size, pretty good. Only 1 steal in his last 4 games. That is his worst stretch of the season. So I feel like he's going to break out of that. I feel good about him swiping 2, but if you have a big lotto ticket prop parlay, definitely throw in 1. It'll increase your odds. And I think that's a shoe-in to happen. That's number 1. Number 2, I'd say Durant coming off a 14-point game. And he's absolutely roasting us this year. He's averaging 32, 8, and 10. His prop for points, rebounds, and assists last night was 39.5. It already went up to 40.5. I don't know what it is currently, but that was a couple hours ago. I would jump on the over. If you just combine his averages, he's averaging 50 of those a game. So 40.5 points, assists, rebounds, take the over. I also go Kyrie above or over 28.5 points and assists. Without Harden, he's averaging 26.5 and 8. So he's distributing a lot more and he's still keeping up his scoring. So I go over 28.5 points and assists for Kyrie. I've been doing this. I don't have a lot of stats to back it up, but James Harden against his former team in a same game prop parlay, I would go 30 points and assists. He's hit that with flying colors almost every single time. He's been with us in the 5 games. I would just go back to that again if you want to have another big lotto ticket one. And then the other one, it's probably the weakest one of the bunch. I like Drummond over 9.5 rebounds. You could do 8 if you're doing a same game parlay option, but if you want to just do a one-off, 9.5. He's had some clunkers with the Nets. But if they want to try to rebound, our rebounding's been atrocious. So he's got that going for him. So if he's plays against our second unit with DeAndre Jordan, he should eat with rebounds. He's going to have to play a lot. I mean, they have no one else that can guard Embiid. Aldridge will get roasted by Embiid. Claxton's too small. It's Drummond or bust. That's why they wanted him in the trade anyway, so they could play against Embiid. So I think he'll get a lot of minutes. The only thing that would ruin this is if he gets in foul trouble. We've seen that before in the past when Embiid rocks him out. So 9.5 rebounds or 8 if you want to do a same game parlay.
Awesome. I love all those. I like just Drummond in general. I like usually any center against our team. Rebounding just has been one of those things for us all year. It's been a beast that we can't really get over. And yeah, all of them I like. I might have to do a 5-game parlay with that. A game or a same game parlay with that. So excited for that. It was a good first episode, and we'll be seeing you. Yeah, and we'll be seeing you guys next week. We're gonna try, like I said, we're gonna try to do two episodes a week. And yeah, we're gonna try to get you five props to pick from every game. So we'll see you guys next time.